Hi, my name is Kahyun Kim. I play Beth and Cocaine Bear, and you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.
Bam! Speed up!
Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture at Pat. So on today's show, I have a special guest. I'm going to be talking to Kahyun Kim. She is starring in Cocaine Bear, which is currently in theaters right now. So excited to talk to you about the movie. Like I said, it was wild before we started this, and thank you for coming on the show again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So before we get into all things Cocaine Bear, I wanted to ask you initially, how did you get your start in acting, and what was it kind of that inspired you to get started in the first place?
Yeah, of course. Well, if I'm telling the long version of the story, I started dancing when I was young, and then I did ballet for a long time, and basically my mom was like, "You're a little too chubby to do ballet." So
What?
why don't you start doing other stuff? So, and she knew, I think she was like, she knew that probably that very rigid lifestyle was going to be very hard for me because I'm very, free for all, like, so, so I think, basically I started taking, modern dance and stuff like that. And then I eventually got into musical theater. But then I was like, ooh, to do musical theater, you really, really, really have to have a strong voice, which is very obvious. But yeah, I was just like, oh, that like 8 show week is probably going to be very hard on my, voice, even though I love singing. Um, so I kind of like started acting and I got into Juilliard, which was awesome. And I moved to the States. I grew up in Korea. So I moved to the States to go to college. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I got my start. And I was in New York, but then I eventually graduated and moved to LA.
It's funny, it's not the first time that, I've had like a number of different guests actually that have started off with dancing and then went from dancing to get into acting later on. So it's
Yeah.
just cool to see how, people kind of go from that and transition over. And
Yeah.
now, kind you're in a film called Cocaine Bear, which is in theaters right now. And congratulations, by the way, the movie ended up, from what I remember reading, it ended up outperforming what it was like initially projected to do box office wise.
Ah,
So congratulations on the
thank
success,
you.
not only to you, but to the rest of the cast as well.
Thank you.
So want to say that. Now, when you have a title like Cocaine Bear, the film is going to be all sorts of crazy. So, and I imagine, a lot of fun. I imagine filming it was the exact same way. So I wanted to ask you just what was your experience, like working on set, and just like maybe do you have some favorite memories that stick out from working on this set?
Yeah, I mean, I was like so excited to be a part of this film because 22 Jump Street is my favorite film of all time. Like I can put that on repeat forever and ever. And it's specifically 22 Jump Street. I just love that film. It's so funny. And this that was produced by Lord and Miller, and Cocaine Bear is also produced by Lord and Miller. So like going into it, I was like, this is my
Dream.
dream job. Like
That's
dream job. Yeah, I mean, filming was so fun. It was like it was challenging in a way because the concept is so out there, but I wanted to make sure it was believable,
Yep.
you know. So as an actor, I think that was a challenge to how do I make it grounded but yet be funny, but yet also like believe in this like crazy circumstances. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And we have a great cast, as you know, because
Yep.
you saw the film. We have such a great ensemble cast, and yeah, I just had a blast.
Now, so were you kind of, did you get to meet Lord and Miller? Did you get a chance to actually like,
Yes,
okay, so
yes,
that
yes.
were you a little like starstruck talking to them?
I I don't even know if they know, but I was probably like shaking. I was so excited, and they were like, very kind enough to talk about my audition tape. And they were like, "Oh, you went to Juilliard, my biggest prize in my life." that I
Yeah.
wanted. So I was like, and they knew that. So I was like, oh my God, they know me.
You just died inside.
Uh, died and relived and then died again.
That's awesome though. I mean, especially when it's something like where you said that's your favorite film. So getting
Yeah,
to meet
favorite.
someone that was part of that and then work on
Yeah.
another project. So that's very, very cool. So for Cocaine Bear, you get the role, you
Hmm.
get the script, you know, you get a chance to read that. What was your initial reaction going through that and like once you got the role?
I was like, this film is fucking amazing. It's just one of those films, like, it's so, I mean, as an actor, you obviously want to do good projects, but there's also like good projects, amazing projects, and there are like projects that was your dream.
Hmm.
And I feel like reading the script, I was like, this is something I would watch over and over again, which I already have. Um, and like being like to be a part of that vision was just so exciting. So reading the script, I was like, oh my God, like how did I get this lucky? Like how did this lightning struck on me? It was, it was just everything I wanted.
I remember hearing about because where this and for those who don't know, like this is based loosely off true events that actually happened. So I remember
Yeah.
hearing about that they were going to be doing this movie. I don't know if it was last year, maybe even the year before when it first got like announced, and I was just like, "What? Like they're making a movie based off this? It sounds like such a crazy idea." But you know, getting to see it like on the big screen, it's what I was hoping for. Like that, it was just going to be a lot of fun. You know,
Yeah.
it knew like you guys it knew what it was. It
Yes.
wasn't trying to be this like super serious, you know, like
Yeah.
project. You guys had fun with it. So yeah, I mean, I kind of imagine that's the exact reaction that you would have going through and just reading some of the scenes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was like I think when my friends find out that I booked a project called Cocaine Bear, they're like, wow, if anybody should be in a project called Cocaine Bear, it's Cayenne.
It's you.
Like all of my friends were like, how, like that is such like a perfect project to be a part of, like knowing my personality and how crazy I am.
Now, what's crazy? So I ended up getting to see the movie on Friday. I
Uh-huh.
wanted to see it initially on Thursday, but we had kind of crappy weather here, so I wasn't able to get out. So I saw it on
Work.
Friday, but I went to go see it. I had to check three different theaters because the first two there was like almost no seats that were left. The only ones that were available were the ones that were like very up front, and I'm like, I don't want to be like, you know, my neck like
Yeah.
starting to like watch it. So
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
my third theater. I finally found seats. I was like, man, I like everyone is going out to see this movie. So again, you know, congratulations on that. But
Thank
what
you.
do you think it is about this movie? It had a lot of hype going into it. What do you think it is about this film that people were just really able to connect with and got really excited to see it?
I mean, I think it's just like that's what movies are, like magic, like it's basically make believe. It's
Yeah,
magic. Like,
yeah,
you go into a situation and you kind of believe that is the situation, and like all the cast and crew makes that story believable. And that's the medium of film. And I think, probably, I mean, for me, I can only speak for myself, but like for me, when I hear Cocaine Bear, it's just like so absurd and out there that it's almost like you need to see it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You can only kind of have your imagination, but you want to see what's happening actually, like to see if that matches with what you're thinking or like you visualize. And so I think that's probably why the aspect of like almost like not knowing.
Yeah, yeah, fear of
Yeah.
missing out kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. I think it's just a fun story.
Yeah, I know for me, I mean, yeah, hearing just the title, I was like, I mean, I need to see this movie. It sounds like
Yeah.
it's going to be crazy. But I think it's just one of those films, too, that, you know, we get all kinds of different movies throughout the year. It's nice to
Yeah.
have a film that, you know, it just sounds like it's going to be a fun time because there's a lot of
Yeah.
films where it's like sometimes, you know, they can be hard to watch. You get your very serious films throughout the
Yeah.
year. And so just like getting the chance to go to the theater, just know that you're going to have a good time, good popcorn flick.
100%.
I was like, yes, I need one of these movies right now. So I know at least for me, that was kind of the driving force. And by the way, I mean, I'm sure you saw it, the marketing for this movie between like the Twitter and stuff, so funny.
I mean, I troll Cocaine Bear's Twitter. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know who's doing the marketing behind the Twitter behind Cocaine Bear, but
So
just
good.
it's so good. Like, like, I saw the other day they replied something that like is it Paddington?
Oh, yep,
Like,
yep.
yeah, and they replied something so absurd and funny. I, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I don't know who that genius is, but that person needs a raise.
There was like a picture that I think they like posted or something, and it was a picture of a bunch of Pepsis, and they said it's always better with Coke or something like that. And it's just like some of the stuff that they're posting, it's like, yeah, like you said, exactly. Whoever the person is, the team behind the marketing, it's like they definitely deserve a
They,
raise.
yes,
Yep.
they definitely, yeah, it's so good.
I think that, I mean, that plays a part into getting people, like all hyped up, to see the movie
100%.
because you're so engaged with like the audience.
Yeah.
Um, and so I want to break down, some of your scenes in the film. So heads up, guys, there will be some spoilers here. Just a heads up. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you go check out the movie. Come back here, finish this up. But I wanted to talk to you about the couple scenes, in the film. So first off, your character Beth, you guys show up to the cabin and you get the first interaction with Cocaine Bear. Not even getting to the ambulance part, but just like showing up and getting that first interaction. Can you just
Mm.
talk about, filming that scene there?
Honestly, that scene, all I can remember, spoiler, but all I can remember is so the blood, the head is splattered on the ground,
Yeah.
right? And all I can remember is that fake blood is basically made out of some kind of like corn syrup or, bees everywhere.
Oh,
Like
jeez.
bees just swarming. And then, we ended up having blood, obviously, Scott, who plays Tom, had blood.
Yeah.
And it was just bees just swirling all around. And
Yikes.
that's and I remember even like seeing um his head blown out on the ground, like in the pieces, like, I know it's fake and obviously like it's makeup. It looked so real and so gross. It was like truly not hard to act with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you kind of look at that and you're like, okay, I mean, yeah, I know it's fake, but at the same time, it's like you don't have to do a lot of acting when you see something like that, just kind of out of nowhere.
100%. And they did such a good job. Like, I mean, it looked so real. It
Did any of you guys get stung like by any
was
of the bees?
I don't think so. I don't
Okay.
think we did. I think the poor actor who got his head blown out, Leo, he was
Yeah.
on the ground for a long time. And I think he was like surrounded, he especially was surrounded by a lot of bees, but
Yikes.
luckily I didn't get stung.
Yeah, you forget that you guys are, out in like nature, like
Oh,
filming, that kind of
God.
stuff. So you kind of forget that element where it's like, I mean, bees aren't just gonna like disappear and just like
Yeah,
leave you guys alone. If they smell something that,
they're gonna
smells good to
come.
them, they're gonna come.
Yeah.
So, geez, yeah. So that's pretty crazy. And then, of course, then we had the ambulance scene, which I think you've probably heard from people, but for me, my favorite scene in the movie, it's just
Yes.
so insane and just like one of the most wild things that I've seen in a while. So, and I think I heard from Elizabeth, or I was watching an interview or something that she said it was, I think, one of the toughest scenes to shoot to get everything like together. Um, what was it like filming that scene in particular?
I mean, I'm lucky because I don't have to do the tough part. I just have to show up and, act. So I'm sure, like, I can't imagine, putting that scene together because there were so many aspects to that scene. With the action, with the reaction, with the bear, with the, driving, our amazing stunt team. Um, I mean, it was so fun. There was green screen. There was also like a big chunk of green screen, but I did get to drive the ambulance for a lot of the parts.
That's
And,
awesome.
not the best driver, not gonna lie. Mm.
Like, watch out,
Um,
guys.
so it was just like it was really scary at first, but it was also like so fun and the fact that I got to like feel what it actually feels like to drive, like a vintage ambulance car, a real vintage. It was just so cool. It was so cool. Very action packed, very funny.
Did for like the part because like your character when you end up getting ejected, how did
Mhm.
that whole scene work? Did they have a stunt double for you? Like, or was that any of that was it like CGI or anything? Like, how did that all work?
Yeah, so they did CGI for like because I don't think they would have been
The
able to even
tumble.
make a stunt double like make the stunt double tumble. Hopefully not. But I did have an amazing stunt double who did a lot of the stunts. But for that part particularly, I think the CGI, we did the CGI, but also I had to tumble like like for the landing part. I
Yeah,
had to definitely tumble a couple of times and pretend like I was dead. And, it was, that's just how amazing also Elizabeth is. She was so specific and particular about that last death that it took a while to shoot that scene.
yeah.
And I just like, which I loved, like I felt so taken care of, because obviously being on the other side, I can't, I don't really see what's happening. I don't know how it's gonna like look. Like I can only imagine.
Yeah,
But like having a director who I know is gonna take care of you, and
makes it a lot
yeah,
smoother.
it means a lot for an actor. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So you did get to do like some of the stunt aspect at the very end where you got to like tumble a little bit and
Yeah, some of the stunts. I won't give myself that much credit. But yeah.
did when the bear because I know like obviously there was use of like CGI for like the bear and stuff like that. Did you was there like someone who was dressed up in the ambulance that had like the bear head? Because I think I've seen some of the behind the scenes. So did they do that, or was it just like a completely CGI with you guys kind of like driving around?
Yeah, so there's this amazing our motion capture guy actor who Alan who was doing a lot of the bear movements,
Yeah,
especially I think with us. I think I remember he was on the back of the ambulance with Scott,
yeah.
who plays Tom, and they did the whole like I think the tumble scene like that. But then for me, a lot of the scenes with the bear, like the bear head, was a silver ball.
Oh,
So I would just have to scream at the silver ball. But then it was funny because I just said this in another interview, but when I saw the silver ball, you kind of like have your own imagination of how the bear is gonna look.
yeah.
But then I remember one time Elizabeth was like, "So this is the bear head," and she brought up the bear head of how big that bear head is, and just seeing it like in real life, my acting just got better.
I'll say so. That's good that you at least had something besides the
Yes.
silver ball to like at least like visualize.
Oh,
You know,
100%. It was amazing. Even just like seeing it, like, the mock head
yeah.
or the real head that was going to be the bear, it just gave me chills. It's like actually pretty frightening to see it in
Oh
real
yeah.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so at least you got at least because I was like, oh man, sometimes I can imagine it's and I know actors have to deal with it a lot, but like
Yeah.
imagine having to act opposite something like a tennis ball or like a silver
Yeah.
ball. But so at least you had some kind of visuals, to work with
Yeah.
there. Now, if you're pitching a sequel or a spinoff to Cocaine Bear, what would you like to see next? Something like Cocaine Shark or what? What animal would you like to see next appear? Even if it's not like something a direct sequel to this movie.
Oh my God. I actually, on the red carpets, like somebody asked the same question. And I honestly think I blacked out at some point. And I was just like, oh, I would love to see a cocaine dolphin. I don't know why I said that. I didn't even think about it. And I was like, yeah, that dolphin will travel to Korea. And I would love to film in Korea. That would be amazing. Like I just went.
You had
But
a whole
then, yeah, but then I did that interview and I was like, that would be an amazing film.
that would be so. I don't know if you heard it, and I can't remember the exact title of it, but I guess they are. It's like already. I don't know if it's like already shot, but there's like some alligator based.
What?
I think it's like meth gator or something like that. So it's like some
Stop.
spinoff or something. Yeah, they
So
always have like those spin-offs when like big movies come out. They're like all these other like offshoots usually come out. Yeah, there's like I want to say it's called like Meth Gator or something like that.
wow, that's
So
iconic.
look it look it up, but
That's
I'm sure there will definitely be, a lot of like different, movies coming out that will be inspired by Cocaine
yeah.
Bear in the future. And it was so cool for me to see this on the big screen because for me, I know growing up, we had a lot of like creature feature, type of films. You had the Anaconda, Deep Blue Sea, Lake Placid. So I was just wondering, do you like? I don't know if you've seen any of those type of films. Do you have a favorite of any of those besides like Cocaine Bear?
I've actually never seen any of those films,
Oh,
but
what?
I know, which is kind of crazy. Um, I'm so sorry. That's a crazy ambulance.
Oh,
Um,
that's weird. Talk
well,
about
talk about, just a coincidence. The
yeah.
ambulance coming for me. Um, no, but actually it reminded me of what is that film where he's like a doctor that talks to animal?
Oh, Doctor Doolittle.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
That,
That
but animals on cocaine would be amazing.
that is the crossover that we need. Okay, putting that out into the world.
Putting
Doctor
that out.
Doolittle with cocaine fueled animals.
Yes, and I
That
would
would
love to play the rabbit.
that would that
Would
would
love
be
to play the
insane. Okay, we definitely we got to make that happen. And
yeah.
you talked a little bit already, briefly about like working with her, but just can you talk about your experience working with director Elizabeth Banks on the project?
She's amazing. Like it's so easy to talk about her because I enjoyed working with her so much. Um, obviously she's an amazing actor and going into it, like I've never worked with her as a director, but I was already like looking up to her because she's, so baller, like she's so cool. And but working with her as a director, she was just like everything I wished for, but more. Like she knew exactly how to like talk to actors. She knew how to communicate, like, but in a way that's effective, not just like giving you general notes, but like being very specific, and like make sure we're all on the same tone and, very like actor,
Brendan.
like, yeah, actor friendly.
So I was going to say, so, and I imagine that's probably because where she comes from, being an actor
Yeah,
herself.
for sure.
So I think so maybe like she kind of knows like what she would like. She's done this before. She knows what she's looking for. So be able to
Yeah,
talk to you, actor to actor. So yeah,
yeah,
I imagine that made it kind of, easier. And then like you said, before just making you feel safe and in like
yeah,
an environment and just having that trust there, I feel like it makes the whole experience a lot easier
yeah,
too.
for sure.
Um, and was, just anything else, do you want to say about the movie? Do you want to say, to like the fans? Anything else that you want to say to kind of wrap things up?
I hope everybody enjoys it. It's like, it's my favorite film that
That
I've
you've
ever
done.
worked on. And like as an audience to watch, it's just so fun. I've been watching it multiple times with friends and like with the cast and crew, and I love the film. I'm so proud of it. I love everybody in it. I love watching the other actors, I mean, I'm an actor and I'm probably so narcissistic, so I love watching myself. Obviously, but like I'm just so excited to watch other actors scene because it's hilarious. So, yeah, I hope everybody enjoys it and make sure you go watch it because I think it's 100,000 times better in theaters. This is one of those movies you have to watch in the theater.
I was
I
gonna
mean,
say,
yeah,
yeah, it's definitely something I feel like you have to experience with a crowd. I was actually
yeah.
real quick. I was gonna ask you also about just what was. It looked like the premiere was fun. So did you like at the premiere? Did you actually get a chance to like watch it with like the audience and stuff there?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what was it like actually seeing it for the first time on the big screen with the crowd and everything?
Oh my God. My heart was like, I felt like my heart was like out here,
Yeah.
and it was just so exhilarating. I was just like, I just didn't know what to expect. And it was my first time seeing other people scene.
Yep.
And if you see the film, you'll know, but it's like very like kind of people have their own like little, group.
So, yep.
And mine was mostly with Scott and Margot, who are amazing. But that's kind of like what I knew going in. So I didn't really get to see other parts.
Yep.
And it's just so funny. The movie is so good.
It is. No, it is so funny. So it must have been cool too to see the reactions from other people and see them laughing at the moments where it's like, oh, like you're hoping that, the people laugh at
Yeah.
these certain moments. So it
Yeah.
sounds like that, it was a blast and obviously it did really well. So we're going into
Yeah.
its second weekend. Hopefully, it does really well again this weekend. And yeah, again, we got to make that Dr. Doolittle with cocaine animals. We got to make that'll be the sequel.
I mean, please let's make that happen, Hollywood.
Well, again, thank you so much, Ken, for coming on the show and talking
Thank
about
you.
your career and talking about the movie. It was great talking to you. I really appreciate I know you got a busy schedule, so thank you for taking time and coming on here to talk about that.
Thank you for having me. Hi, my name is Kahyun Kim. I play Beth and Cocaine Bear, and you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.